Have you ever had one of those days, or maybe weeks, where you just feel like you're slogging through mental fog? Meanwhile, you look at other people and they seem to navigate life with this incredible, effortless clarity. I've been wrestling with that feeling a lot lately, and I bet some of you have too. It's like, how do they just get it? They're sharp, they're creative, they solve problems in ways that seem almost magical. It feels like they just grasp things in a heartbeat. And while they're doing that, the rest of us often feel like we're just stuck in the weeds, just trying to keep up. Well, that very question sent me down a pretty fascinating rabbit hole, and I landed right on this thing called Neuro Energizer. All right, so let's dive in, because the first thing I came across was a claim that sounded, honestly, way too good to be true. Yeah, this is it, the big promise. Unlock Einstein-level genius in just 7 seconds a day. And my first reaction was probably exactly the same as yours. Really? Einstein in 7 seconds? Come on. My internal BS detector just went off like a fire alarm. But, and this is a big but, as someone who's always looking for ways to optimize and get that extra mental edge, I couldn't just dismiss it out of hand. I had to dig a little deeper. And trust me, the story behind this whole thing is, well, it's wild. Okay, so this all brings us to the core inspiration for this program. It involves a neuroscientist named Dr. Orson McCoy. And get this, one of the strangest stories in scientific history, the actual theft of Albert Einstein's brain. Yeah, you heard that right. So the story goes that after Einstein passed away back in 1955, his brain was, let's call it liberated, without permission, and then studied for decades. And what researchers eventually found wasn't that he had a bigger brain, but that his brain was wired completely differently. So where was this difference? Well, it was in a specific part of the brain called the corpus callosum. The easiest way to think about this is like a superhighway of nerves that connects the logical left side of your brain with the creative, artsy right side. So while most of us have a pretty standard highway, Einstein's brain had this exceptionally thick, well-developed one. Researchers started calling it his genius bridge because it basically let him tap into both logic and creativity at the exact same time. So the big question became why? What caused this? Well, Dr. McCoy's research into Einstein's life uncovered this one powerful habit. He was a passionate daily violin player. And the theory is that this consistent, really complex activity literally strengthened that genius bridge over time. Which of course led to the next big question. Can we replicate that brain strengthening effect today, but without, dedicating years to mastering the violin? Well, Neuro Energizer's entire premise is that the answer is a big yes. And it all comes back to this one number. The entire core of the program is a 7-second audio track that you listen to once a day. I mean, that's it. And I have to admit, the simplicity really got me. Even on my absolute most insane days, I can find 7 seconds. So how is this even supposed to work? Well, the principle behind it is something called brainwave entrainment. The basic idea is that external rhythms, in this case sound, can get your brain's own electrical signals to sync up with them. This audio track uses special frequencies that are designed to guide your brain into what's known as the theta wave state. And that's the state associated with deep relaxation, creativity, and that aha moment of intuition. And the actual process? It literally could not be easier. You download the track, you put on your headphones, and that part is important for the frequencies to work properly. And then you just press play. That's the whole thing. No complicated meditations, no expensive biofeedback machines. Okay, so of course I had to try it for myself. I mean, I really wanted to see if this 7-second hack actually did anything at all. So here's what I found. All right, first things first. It is not like a jolt of coffee. You don't press play and suddenly feel like a certified genius. The immediate effect is way more subtle than that. For me, it was just this sense of calming, a mental settling that was actually really pleasant. But then, over the first few days, I started to notice some little things. My focus felt a bit sharper. I found I could hold my concentration on a single task for longer. And in those moments where I would normally just hit a mental wall, ideas seemed to flow just a little more freely. Look, it wasn't some massive life-altering shift, but it felt like this consistent, gentle nudge in the right direction. Okay, so let's talk about the price tag, the investment. Right now, the program is a one-time payment of $39, and that gets you lifetime access. No subscriptions, no monthly fees, which honestly, I really appreciate. On top of that, it also comes with these 3 digital bonus guides. You get instant access to them as soon as you buy. They cover things like nutrition for your brain, habits of high achievers. It's some nice extra value packed in there. And honestly, this right here was the real clincher for me. They have a 60-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. That just lowers the risk to pretty much zero. If you try it for a couple months and feel absolutely nothing, you just get your money back. Simple as that.
Which brings us all the way back to the big question we started with. With a claim this bold and a solution this simple, is Neuro Energizer just a scam?
All right, so here's my final take. Based on my own experience and the science they lay out, it really doesn't feel like one. Now, is it a magic bullet that's going to turn you into Einstein overnight? No, of course not. But I do see it as a simple, super accessible tool that aims to give you a potential mental edge by gently boosting your clarity, focus, and that creative flow. Really, it's about giving your brain a little daily tune-up to help strengthen those important connections. So I'll just leave you with this thought. In a world that demands so much of our attention and our mental energy, finding even a small, consistent edge can make a monumental difference. So the real question is, what could you do with one?